Welcome. This is Dr. Susana Juniu. I'm the chair of the Exercise Science and Physical Education Department. We are very, excited that you decided to join us in the fall. You see here, there is several faculty members and members of the College of Education and Human Services that are joining me today for this webinar, the freshman orientation. And we are here to answer several questions, to give you some information about our programs in exercise science and also in physical education and teacher education. So let me start by introducing the faculty members. We have Frederick Garden, Dr. Garden. He is, say hello, okay. His background is in athletic training. Dr. Bill Sullivan, his background is in exercise science. Dr. Peter Hosick, his background is also in exercise science. And Dr. Kristen Scribes Fletcher, and her background is in physical education and teacher education. We also have Jan Johnson, who is joining us today from the Center of Pedagogy. So she will be answering some questions regarding teacher education, applications, together with Dr. Fletcher, and Scribes Fletcher. And also Hanan Atiyat, she's joining us from the Student Center, also from the College of Education. And she will be answering you questions that you may have regarding advising. In addition, Mr. Saavedra, our Eduardo Saavedra, and I left him last because he's our main advisor for the department. He's the department administrator, and you will be in touch with him many, many times in addition to the Student Center. So what I would like to do now is to have Hanan to talk a little bit about what your center does for the students, and also Eduardo, I think he got lost.
I'm here.
Now you're there again.
Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Hanan Atiyat. I work in the Student Success Center, and I'm an academic advisor there. The Student Success Center is located in University Hall on the 3rd floor, and some of the services we provide are academic advising, career counseling, and assisting students with securing internships and co-op opportunities. We work in conjunction with the academic departments, so you can consider us a supplemental resource to your respective department. In the chat feature, I will also include our email address, which you can write to us if you have any questions related to our hours, virtual advising, and any different portals that you may have questions in terms of degree audit, how to use Navigate, and things of that nature. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Hanan. Now that we're also going to be sending you, since we have all your emails, we will be sending you information via email after this webinar. So you can have direct access to some of the faculty, to our website, and to information regarding advising. Okay, so now I'd like to introduce Mr. Eduardo Saavedra, our department administrator. Eduardo.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our department. And I'd like to say that if you have the opportunity to meet us in any situation, so you're always welcome to come to my office. If you have problem with the scheduling or any other issues, please, I'm sorry, my son is on the back, my grandson, sorry for that. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're welcome to come to see my office all the time. I'm sorry for the disruption here.
Okay, no problem. So actually, many of us will be working, we will be doing virtual office hours. So we will send you also information about how to contact us during our office hours. Could be, different ways to make appointment with us, Navigate, also with meeting us on with Zoom the same way we're doing now. Okay, so now Shasta would like to.
Could I just say something first?
Sure.
Folks, you may want to take a screenshot of this because Hanan just put in the contact information for the Student Success Center. And that's an important one because they're the ones who worked out your schedule. And if you have any problems with that schedule over between now and the time we start classes, oh, she only sent it to the panelists. So she has to, you have to send it to everyone.
Yeah, I'll copy and paste and send it to all.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I also will be
It
sending.
will be coming and you might want to write it down or take a screenshot so that you have that address.
As I say, Bill, we will be sending, since we have the emails of all the students who are attending today and those that are not attending as well, we will be sending this information via email.
Okay.
Okay, so the students in exercise science, and I know there is two concentrations, so exercise science, sports conditioning, and the clinical and pre-professional, you will remain in this room. And Dr. Kristen Scribes-Fletcher, could you just let the physical education students and Jan how to reach the other room?
Yes, so those of you who are in health and physical education, I emailed you all today with a Zoom invite for another meeting room, and I'm typing it in the chat right now. So if you got the email, you can log off and then we'll see you in that other room. And if you didn't, you should have it in your email. But here is the Zoom address. You can Zoom ID, you can go to there now. So I'm gonna log off and I'll meet you all over there.
Kristen, should I do that? Because I didn't get an email from you.
Yes,
so.
yes, Jan, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yes. Okay, thank you and welcome, and looking forward to seeing you in the fall.
Welcome to everybody.
Bye-bye.
Soon.
So long.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, I will let you, Bill, Pete, and Fred to take over this.
Okay, thank you.
Now. Thank you.
Bill, if you need me, just, you want to hang around?
If you want to, that's fine.
Okay. How about Christine? Oh, she already left. Okay.
So your grandson is taking the family business over in his gymnastics here.
I'm sorry. He's so bored here now. Okay.
Okay, so folks, I want to thank everybody. My name is Bill Sullivan. I coordinate the undergraduate exercise science program, and we're going to have Dr. Garden speaking and Dr. Hosick speaking, and they're going to also work on the chat, trying to respond to any questions that you have. The plan today is for us to go through a PowerPoint slide presentation introducing what our program is about, and then for you to ask questions along the way. And you do that by going at the bottom in the chat and type in your.
Okay, all right, bye-bye.
Suzanne, are you staying or going? Okay, so folks, I'm going to share my screen here and hope this all works out. Can you see my PowerPoint slide? Yes, okay, Pete says yes. So the Department of Exercise Science, Physical Education, Bachelor of Science in Exercise Science. And it will be myself, Dr. Garden, and Dr. Hosick will be presenting this. And why isn't it? Okay. So what is exercise science? It's the study of human movement and the body. And it's a multidisciplinary study. It involves physiology, which is the function of the body, anatomy, which is the structure of the body, physics, studies movement, pharmacology is in studying drugs. We talk about some medicine, and chemistry. All of that is involved in exercise science. And we apply all of those things to the three disciplines within exercise science. But one of them is exercise physiology. The second one is skill acquisition and motor control, also called motor learning, how we learn a skill. And the biomechanics, that is the physics of movement. And the goals of our exercise science program are to provide you with a strong scientific background, practical knowledge base, and doing that via academic, experiential, and leadership courses. We're preparing you to design, implement, evaluate, and instruct movement programs, perform accurate fitness assessments, recognize pathological conditions, earn professional certifications such as the Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist and also the Certified Exercise Physiologist certifications. Both require a bachelor's degree in the field, and also to enter graduate programs, preparing you to undergraduate programs. What kind of work do we do? The graduates of our program, they work in corporate fitness centers, commercial centers, fitness centers, sports performance centers. That is the fitness related aspect of it. And the health related aspect settings are cardiac rehabilitation, hospitals, and clinics. And we also have an internship program where you're going to get that practical experience. It's a semester-long program, and it's a full-time, that will be 3/4 of the work you're doing your last semester. What kind of jobs do exercise sciences do? Well, these are some of the things that our graduates have done over the years. Acupuncturist, athletic trainer, we'll talk about that later. Biomechanist, that is that physics aspect of it. Cardiac rehabilitation specialist, chiropractors, clinical exercise physiologists. Clinical meaning we have, that's dealing with people who have some sort of disease like diabetes or a pulmonary problem. Dietitian or sports dietitian, and we do have a minor in exercise science and sports nutrition that some of you may be interested in. Exercise and sports psychologists, we have one on staff. A fitness industry professional or manager, occupational therapist, orthotists, the people who develop braces, ped orthotists, and those who make foot orthotics, perfusionists. We've had a few of them that run heart and lung machines. Certainly personal trainers. Physical therapists is a popular area that people want to go into. Some switch over to be physical education teachers. We have physicians, physician assistant, a prosthetist. Those are people who make artificial limbs. Some become professors of exercise science, public health professionals, and some are scientists, researchers, lab technicians, and of course another one is the sports conditioning and strength coach. So these are the areas that people generally decide to go into, but not all. In our program, we have 2 concentrations in our bachelor's program, a clinical and pre-professional studies concentration and a sports conditioning concentration. The clinical and pre-professional studies suggest that you're going to go on to at least a master's degree, and the clinical part is dealing with people with some sort of disease. And the sports conditioning is typically in the fitness area. Sports conditioning is one of the popular ones in there. Typical careers in that clinical and pre-professional studies track are cardiac and pulmonary rehabilitation, clinical exercise physiologists, personal trainers, fitness and health facility managers, worksite wellness coordinators, and group fitness instructors. Also, graduate study for the clinical track includes allied health programs like physical therapy, occupational therapy, physician assistant, nursing, chiropractic, acupuncture, and also medical school. Some go into exercise science, which includes exercise physiology, biomechanics, and motor learning. Some will go into athletic training that, again, we'll talk about later on. And nutrition, though we don't have any slides on that, we do have a dual minor in nutrition and exercise science. For the sports conditioning track, we have strength and conditioning coaches, personal trainers, fitness or health facility managers, worksite health wellness coordinators, and group fitness instructors. And typical graduate programs there are to go into exercise science, exercise physiology, biomechanics, motor learning, and nutrition. Now, before I go any further, not everybody knows what they want to do when they're 18 years old. So these are some of the options within our field. Now, I'll tell you that my bachelor's degree is in Vietnamese. I decided not to go into that field for my graduate work. My graduate work was exercise physiology. So you don't write out your entire life this semester. You don't have to decide what's going on for the rest of your life. But this is one way to get there. So which of these jobs that we talked about require further education? The acupuncturist, athletic trainer, chiropractor, dietitian, sports and exercise psychologist, medical doctor or physician, occupational therapist, the perfusionist, physical therapist, physician assistant, a professor, of course, public health professionals, some sort of scientists, depend on the job that you're doing, and some sports technology and engineering. Or those of you who are more adept at math. For the requirements to get into our program, if you're an incoming freshman, you can automatically sign up for either the sports conditioning track or the clinical track. The same thing with transfer students internally and externally. In order to stay in the clinical and pre-professional studies track, we have a goal here of a GPA of 2.75, which is a B+. And if you don't have that B+ by the end of your studies, you're probably not going to get a job in that field. For the sports conditioning concentration, the GPA is 2.0, that as a 4.0, and that's a C, and that's a requirement for any program at the university. Will you be able to attend graduate school? Yes. We have a master's degree in exercise science. There are also clinical and pre-professional studies graduate programs that you would want to go into: physical therapy, occupational therapy, a medical doctor, physician assistant, acupuncturist, athletic trainer. Those are typical ones. We do not have an affiliation or articulation agreement with any PT schools. We'll talk more about that later on, but we will, if you're in the clinical track, you'll have all of the courses that you would need to apply to the PT schools. We are an exercise science program. That's our function, but in our clinical track, we have the opportunity to prepare yourself for PT school. And now I would like to hand it over to Dr. Garden, who could talk about the combined program, bachelor's and master's degree program in exercise science in athletic training.
Thank you, Dr. Sullivan. First off, I want to thank you all for being here with us today. It's kind of an unusual time, but it's also an exciting time. So we do offer a MS in athletic training, and we have a 5-year combined degree pathway for students who enter the university as freshmen and want to pursue an exercise science degree and an athletic training degree as well. So I call this a 5-year combined degree program, and there have been some questions in the chat about a 3+2, which is what the rest of the world sort of calls it. But at Montclair State, we refer to it as a 5-year combined degree program because it's not an exact and clean 3 and 2 years. It's a little bit, you know, the middle part of it kind of smears. So it's a 5-year combined program. It gets you the same thing. So it is a 150 credit program. The master's program is 42 credits. The minimum number of credits for a bachelor's degree is 120. So if you go through and complete everything as you should, you might be thinking, well, the math doesn't add up. Well, going through in this combined program allows us to count 12 credits of the master's degree toward both the master's degree and toward your last 12 credits of your undergraduate degree program. So there's a financial advantage in addition to saving a little bit of time of being in school by doing it this way. So if you're planning on doing this, you must enroll in the clinical and pre-professional exercise science program. you would have to notify the department of your intent. That way you can be switched officially into that pathway. And I keep using the phrase pathway. It's an accelerated pathway. So you're actually going through and completing all of the requirements for the exercise science degree and all of the requirements for the Master of Science in Athletic Training. So it's not like you're getting something necessarily cut out. It's still, you've still got to take all the same courses. In addition to that, what also makes it accelerated is that you have to, you're likely going to be taking classes in special terms. That would be summers and also in possibly in winter session, but most definitely in summer school. If you're in the clinical and pre-professional exercise science path degree track, then all of the prerequisites for the master's degree are built in. We built our prerequisites off of what was already in the exercise science degree program. That's not true if you're in the strength and conditioning path track. So make sure that you're clear on that. If you want this combined program, you need to be enrolled in the clinical and pre-professional track. You're not.
Let me know when you want me to switch.
Okay, thank you. You're not a athletic training student until you reach those graduate courses. So, you know, you've got to really be clear that it's a pathway. You're an exercise science student until you reach those master's courses. And technically, the university doesn't count you as a graduate student until you get to those, what I'll call swing courses. Those are those courses those 12 credits of graduate work that will count for both the undergraduate and graduate program. You technically have to still apply, but there's a fast track application that we've put together that doesn't require all of the same elements as a student who would be coming to MSU who already has a bachelor's degree and wants to just do the master's part of that program. So that's also an option. So if you feel like, you know, cramming everything in the BS in exercise science in 3 years is too much, which it might be for some people, then, excuse me, you have the option to also just finish your degree in a reasonable amount of time for you and then pursue the master's in athletic training afterward. And, you know, we could say roughly 4 years and then 2. So either way, you would want, if you're in this program, this combined program, then you would be eligible to start the graduate credit courses once you're somewhere in the range of 90 to 110 credits. And what we want is for the graduate courses to be your last 12 credits of your degree program. So some students may be in progress with undergraduate courses in that first summer of the grad program, and that's why we list it that way. So before I go off and say too much, if you do require more information, if this is something that's interesting to you, please contact us. My information is on the slide. You can also contact the department and they'll pass the information along to you. Thanks. And if you have questions that in the chat, I'll get to those as soon as we get going. Thanks, Dr. Sullivan.
Thank you. I think, okay, so the next one is PT school. So this website here is where you're going to find information about going to PT schools. Each program has a little different undergraduate requirement, but typically they are anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, the principles of biology 1 and 2, general chemistry 1 and 2, college physics 1 and 2, psychology, developmental psychology, statistics, and exercise physiology. All of these courses, except for developmental psychology, are built into our clinical and pre-professional studies curriculum, and developmental psychology would be one of the elective courses that you would take. But you should understand that the average grade point average out of 4.0 in 2019 was 3.6. That is an A minus over a 4-year period, an average of an A minus. Now, any one of you here who has been accepted to Montclair State could attain a 3.6 average, but you have to work hard to do it. And one of the problems we have with freshmen, and this is a very special year, we're all feeling it. Let me say that back in December 7th, 1941, my father was playing poker with his friends, and they heard on the radio that this place called Pearl Harbor was bombed. And a few months later, he was in the Army. Before he left, he asked his girlfriend, his high school sweetheart, if she'd wait for him. He came back home 3 years later. He was in Europe for 3 years. They only communicated via letter. And then when he got home, my mother said, I've been waiting for you for 3 years. We're getting married 2 weeks from Saturday. And that was that. But that entire generation had to change life. People had vouchers in order to buy meat, in order to get gasoline, things like that. It was much different than it is today. We don't have the struggles that they did during World War II. There are things that you have to adjust to. I saw in today's NJ.com had an article about a party down in Red Bank where 400 people showed up. It's absolutely dangerous to do that type of stuff, folks. And the one thing that we care about most is your safety. Please don't do that. It's harder. Some of your courses are going to be online, and some of you are going to find that harder to do. You've already missed your prom and your yearbook signing and things like that. But life does go on. There are many other disasters in the world that are much worse than what we're dealing with here. So can you do it? Yes, you can, but you have to apply yourself. What should I take in the freshman year? Most of you have a program similar to this in a fall and a spring semester, and maybe one of those classes is traded out with another course, like cultural anthropology or whatever it is, another course that you would have to take. We have this concept of general education, that you would study courses in different fields to give yourself a background in different disciplines. That's what an educated person does. And that is some 50 credits or so, I forget the exact number, of our undergraduate program. Most of what you will be studying, though, is within our discipline or in biology, chemistry, etc. So if you look at the fall semester, every one of you should be taking freshman seminar. College Writing 1. Maybe some of you are in fundamentals in speech. Maybe you're in a different general education course. Anatomy and Physiology 1 and Fitness Activities. This course, Biology 244 and PEMJ 131, are foundation courses that you need to take, much like you take Spanish 1, then Spanish 2, then Spanish 3, then Spanish 4. You take Anatomy 1, then you take Anatomy 2 in the next semester. And then we'll go on to other courses beyond that within our discipline. And the same thing for Fitness Activities. You have to take that first before you can take other courses. So these would be prerequisite courses for another course. College Writing is a prerequisite for the next semester where you're going to take College Writing 2. So most of you have this or something very similar to this in your freshman year. Anyone interested in athletic training, it will be a little different, your 4-year plan. But here's the general 4-year plan for clinical and pre-professional studies. I don't expect you to memorize this, but we understand it. The faculty and the advisors here understand what this is about, and we know which semester you should be taking which courses, so that by the time you're in that spring semester of your 4th year, you didn't forget to take a course or two. So let me give a plug here. Every semester, you should meet with your advisor 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks before registration for the next semester begins, so that you have your plan of attack, what you're going to sign up for the next semester. And if you look on Nest, your academic advisor has been assigned. You could also go to the Student Success Center for advising. For instance, right now, Dr. Garden and Dr. Hosick and I are not on contract. We're not getting paid for this month or next month, but we're doing this today. But in general, over the summer, you would go to somebody else who is a 12-month employee. So it's important to understand that we have both a 4-year plan, how to get you out of here in 4 years, but you have to follow this track. And we have a 4-year plan for sports conditioning also. A little different sequence of events, but it's the same idea. We want you out of here in 4 years. Now, what is this mess? This is rather important. I told you had to take anatomy and physiology 1 and 2. Well, here's where it starts. Anatomy and Physiology 1 allows you to take Anatomy and Physiology 2, which allows you to take exercise physiology, kinesiology, and basic motor learning. And that exercise physiology allows you to take exercise assessment and prescription, which allows you to take cardiac rehabilitation and exercise for special populations. If you miss this one, you can't take any of these. You take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the sequence. You need to see your advisor to make sure that you're on track. That's the big message out of this. I don't expect you to understand this at all, but we know that you've got to take this course before you take this course, before you take this course, before you take these courses. And we want to keep you on track. So please see your advisor at least once a semester. And if you're having any problems at the university, at any level, or even at home, don't be afraid to stop in and see your advisor. You would be surprised at the stories that I've heard from students, and we have psychological counseling on campus. We have financial aid on campus, things like that that might be able to help you. I had a woman who was sleeping in her car in the parking lot and taking showers in the fitness center because she was homeless. Well, the university could help with that. Don't be afraid to talk to your advisor about problems that you're having. So this is a message here, see your advisor and follow that track of the sequence of courses. And this is one on the sports conditioning. It's a little different because there are different courses, but it's the same idea. Follow the track. You take 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So someone wanted to go out on internship next semester. And I looked at his record and said, you can't go out on internship. You forgot this one. How can you forget this one? Then you can't go on to this if you don't do this one first. Because this is a prerequisite for internship. Keep that in mind, folks. Stay on track. So over the summer, I put this here that Professor Zavedra, Professor Rebecca Madsen, who works in the Student Success Center, and we also have Ms. Hanan Atiyat here, that she already gave you her information. She's in the Student Success Center. I didn't realize she was coming, or I would have had her information here too. You may want to take a screenshot about that. Professor Zavedra is within our department, and the other 2 are in the Student Success Center. So during the summer, like someone contacted me yesterday, he had 2 classes scheduled at the exact same time. On Wednesday at 5:30 in the afternoon. Well, one of them has to change. So he needs help and advisement. We have a question here. How are labs going to be done online? Well, Tara, thank you for asking that question. And that is something that we have been struggling with and been meeting about since March. Again, this is a situation that we don't have control over. Right now, the state of New Jersey is in stage 2. In stage 2, classes are online. Once we go to stage 3, there is the possibility of some classes could be taught at the university, and some of them will be if you go to stage 3. So all of those classes that you see in NEST that are scheduled for in class, if we're still in stage 2, we're going to be back online. There's no question about that. A group of us met with the president of the university last week, and she was very firm on that there's nothing that we can do until the governor does that. So what we have done is found some things online. Some professors are making things up that you could do at home, or maybe on if there's say a running track in your neighborhood or in a park, that you could run a certain distance and time yourself, things like that. Some of them are going to be all video teaching the lab. We can only do the best that we can under the circumstances that we're given at this period of time in the history of humanity. That's all we can do. If we have no control over it, we have no control over this. We'd have better control if people had been wearing masks since March. Let's see, where do I go next? I go here, and this is a typical classroom that we have when we get back to classrooms. Hopefully it will be soon. It fits about 30 people. And some of your classes will be 30 people, some of them will be 15 people. And in athletic training, they might be 10 people. Because the more hands-on a class is, the smaller the classroom has to be. So for lectures, theory courses, they can be bigger. But within our discipline, within the exercise science courses, you're not going to get more than 30, 32 people in class. In the general education classes, let's say you're taking cultural anthropology, there may be a lot more students in a class. This is our laboratory over here. We have a number of bicycles. You're going to learn how to use these cycles and these treadmills over here. You're going to be taking blood pressure and heart rate, etc. You're going to be able to measure oxygen consumption. Some of you've heard the term VO2 max. These are things that you would learn in labs. And by the way, the labs that you would use here are not until your junior year. So you're not going to run into that problem. Over here is our biochemistry lab where we analyze blood. And in general, that's what we do here. And that's the professors and some graduate students doing research. A great way to get involved. And again, it won't be this semester, but the semester after that, hopefully, we'll be back and get involved in a research project as a subject and also as a helper, helping the professor, helping the graduate student collect data. And you'll be surprised at how much you learn when you do this, and you'll be more engaged in your discipline. It's nobody here is your mother or father. This is about you engaging in learning. It's not a passive process where you sit there and we feed you with a spoon out of a Gerber baby food bottle. It's about you grabbing that knowledge. And the more you grab, the more potential you have to be successful. This is on you. 18 years old, you're an adult. I was 18, I signed my own papers to go into the military. Nothing my parents could have done about it. So you're an adult, you're going to be treated like an adult. You need to put yourself out there. This here is our underwater weighing tank, and it's one of the measures that, again, one of our labs that we do to figure out your percentage of fat. But this is an idea of one of our main lab. It's, when you put it all together, it's quite big. You don't see the whole picture here. So that's our presentation, unless Dr. Garden or Dr. Hosick has anything to add that I might have forgotten, but we would like to answer your questions. That would be important for us if you have questions to ask.
I'll say a number of people have been posting their questions in the Q&A. So go ahead and keep doing that. We can answer those questions there. I think that's probably the best way to do it. You can type it in the chat one way or another. I think Dr. Sullivan, Dr. Gardner, myself will be able to see those and get those answered for you. So now's the time to ask those questions if you have them. We can also review other bits of the presentation if you like. I'll also add, we can try to send you, a couple people asked this question, we can try to send, we have your emails, we can try to send a copy of this presentation out to you if you would like. And I think we are recording this, and we'll make this recording available at some point, either through your email or posting it on our website. But we appreciate all of you attending today, and make sure you ask those questions if you have them. Now's a good opportunity you have us, so ask away.
I'm just seeing these questions for the first time, but as far as textbooks go, sometimes you'll find them online cheaper than you would find in university bookstore. You might want to investigate that. Okay, so how can we see, okay, Dr. Hosick already answered that. If you go into DegreeWorks, that's within NEST, you're going to find that you're going to have it says concentration in that box next to it. Should say clinical or pre-professional studies or sports condition. It may be blank. That's a possibility too. And you can change. You just make a request and you change. How can we get a copy of the presentation through email? Okay, do we have, okay, Dr. Junio said she has all of your email addresses, so we could send that. Mateo. Okay. Other questions? Folks, again, this is your future. You need to be proactive. You should be asking these questions that you have. There's no question that's stupid. There's no question that should be embarrassing.
Dr. Sullivan, there's a couple of open, unanswered questions that I'm just going to take this first one from Olivia Malone. She's asking, what type of laptop do you recommend specifically for this major? I don't think we necessarily put an endorsement on any single brand, but what I would recommend is that you go to the MSU website and navigate over to the Office of Information Technologies page, and they'll have recommendations for students regarding the type of laptop or the configuration that would be best for just general student use.
Could I also add to that question? I'm back. Actually, I did get this question before from another student, and I understand that some programs that some of our faculty are using right now, they prefer Windows, okay, PCs. So, so that's one other option rather than, you know, going for, I mean, we understand that some of you may be interested in purchasing a Mac, which is actually more expensive than a PC. But for one of some of the programs used in the courses, they prefer Windows. For example, for kinesiology is one of those courses. Just doesn't mean that if you don't have a computer with Windows, you're not going to be able to use the application. But I mean, because we'd also have some computers in the lab, but that would be a question that, a suggestion.
So if you prefer Mac, 90%, 95% of the work that you would do at the university, you'll be fine with a Mac, and I'm a Mac person. However, if there was something you needed to do on a PC, we have computer labs in the university hall and other places around campus where students go with their ID, they swipe their ID, they go into the computer lab and they use either a Mac or a PC. So you would have access to PCs if your choice was to have a Mac. We cannot dictate what type of device you use.
There is another question from Mateo that I can answer here, a question about internships. So these internships are things that, one, you wouldn't be doing until your senior year. As Dr. Sullivan mentioned, there's a progression of classes, and that is the internships are a culmination of everything that you should have learned. So you wouldn't be doing those for several years anyway, but they are, in one of the classes, there is discussions on how to find them. We have relationships with a number of different physical therapists, occupational therapists, chiropractors, fitness facilities, you name it. And we've got relationships with all sorts of exercise science related professionals, and we can advise you who to contact, or get you in contact with different professions that you'd be interested in doing and performing internships with. But again, that's several years down the line for all of you.
Well, we have an entire class that prepares you for internship and post-graduation. Not just how to find an internship, which one would suit you the best, but also how to find a job after you do the internship. So we have a 3-credit course just directed to those questions, where you will write a resume, you'll practice interviewing, things like that. Again, this is later. This is typically the semester before your last semester, so that you're prepared for that last semester.
This is probably better for Dr. Hosick or Dr. Sullivan to answer, or maybe even Dr. Junio. She may have some insights on this, but there's an anonymous question about how are fitness-related classes being run in person? How would it be safe for everyone included? You guys have.
So, for instance, you're going to take fitness activities your first semester, and they're going to be online. And you are going to be assigned to do a number of physical activities on your own. Much of that will be a lecture, but some of it is going to be on your own, and the professors teaching that are develop different types of programs, have videos showing you how to do it. For instance, in dance, we have a dance major at the university, and this semester it's all going to be online. And so people are going to send in videos to the professor, and the professor is going to evaluate the videos. The professor is going to demonstrate it on video, either themselves or have a video, like a YouTube video from somebody else. Those are the ways that we're going to be able to handle that. This semester, again, we're in a period of history that we've never been in before. And for some reason, I don't see all the questions that you're seeing.
Yeah, let me just add to that question. Yes, the majority of the lab courses or fitness courses will be online, although we do have some fitness activities that most of you are signed in. I mean, you're taking this course in the fall. We are planning to have some of those meetings face-to-face, but several times. It's not going to be every week, but in large spaces, for example, in gymnasiums. But still, we are, everything will be related to how things are at the beginning of the semester. So that's just to add to the question. But the majority of the courses, lab courses, may be conducted online. There's another question here. Will we need to buy a text even though the courses are online? Yes, I think, if the course require a textbook, you will need to purchase a textbook because that will go along with your class. Anybody else that would like to add to that?
Yeah, it depends on the professor. So some professors are going to provide documents for you to study from, and some, depending on the discipline and the course, And some are going to require that you have a text that you can actually read.
Okay.
So you will
So-
find that out that will be, should be the first day that you meet. That should all be spelled out. And it should be in the syllabus, which is another important thing for you to do, is study the syllabus. Study the syllabus. This is your contract with your professor or how this course is going to run. How the assignments you're going to have to do, the exams you're going to have to take, and how you're going to be graded. Study the syllabus for each class. And many of the textbooks will be online. Depending on the course and the discipline. Some of them, it's impossible to find. Others, it's easy to find.
I think,
I'll add to that. A lot of those textbooks, like some of the other professors said, they are available online. And it's as simple as typing the name and making sure that you have the edition. So a lot of those have multiple editions. So making sure that you have the edition that is recommended in your course, in your syllabus. And a lot of times you can see directly from the supplier whether there's a PDF version or a tablet version, online version. You can rent sometimes online versions that are even cheaper than purchasing a PDF version of that. You can rent it and download it onto your computer for 6 months or so. And then after that time, after you're done with the class, it will be deleted automatically from there. Determining which you want to keep and which you want to rent in that manner is completely up to you. You could ask your professor if they'll need this book. There are several books when you get into some of the higher level courses that you'll use for multiple classes. And that might be just, they're a good reference for anyone working in the fitness field. So you'd want to purchase those outright or at least have long-term access to them. But a lot of that information you can do simply through Google searches and going to the original supplier. Also, our bookstore a lot of times has that information if the professor has given his textbook information to the bookstore.
Dr. Hoksick, there's a question in the chat. I responded to it, but it says, where can I find the updated syllabus for physical education and health online? And I would suggest that, for students that want to be proactive and get all their course syllabi and read them, that you check with your professor first. If in some cases the professor may not have made it available. Many professors use Canvas and they may upload it to Canvas. When the Canvas courses go live a couple of weeks before the semester starts in August, then if they've already uploaded the course syllabus, then you would likely find it there. If it's not there, you can try reaching out to the individual course professors individually to see if they have it ready for students. Otherwise, and I'm not a fan of this term, but otherwise, what you'll find is that typically the first day of the semester for each course is basically syllabus day, and where the professor will distribute the course syllabus or make it available electronically for students. And that document will have all this information in it on what the student needs for that particular course. So I would suggest that if you want to know that information now, and it's still a bit early, the semester doesn't start until toward the end of August on the 25th. But you can try reaching out to the professor, or you can wait a couple of weeks, and then when the Canvas courses all go live, if the course is already put together in Canvas, then you might be able to find it there.
If I may, so I'm not sure the question is about the program of courses that people have to take within a discipline, which should be online. Ours are online. If you go to our department, you can find these, go to the program like exercise science, and ours are online about, these are the courses that you're going to have to take. A syllabus is something that is individual to each course. And each professor has their own way of doing it. And the first day of class is typically the day that you discuss the syllabus, and you should have already read it because it should be posted online by the first day of class in this Canvas learning system that we have. This is the people sometimes don't come the first day of class, which in my view makes no sense at all, because that is the day you're going to be told, this is how to be successful in this class. And much of that material that will be discussed in that class is in the syllabus. But frankly, students generally don't read the syllabus. You should read the syllabus, study the syllabus, go to class the first day so that you have a handle on what is expected of you in this particular class. Again, much of this is on you. You're an adult. You want the education? We're here. We're going to teach. It's your job to learn. And only you can make that decision. And yes, this is a very difficult time period for us, but it could also be a time for you to flourish. What were you going to do? Watch YouTube all day? Go back and forth on Instagram with your friends? Put this time to good use. Other questions? Don't be embarrassed. This is something you're going to have to get over very quickly at a university. That you have to step up and ask questions and answer questions. And if you're going to be in our field, you need to learn how to be a little bit outgoing. Personally, I'm a shy person, but I have forced myself to be out there over the 32 years that I've been at Montclair State. You have to put yourself out there. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask us. And now would be a good time.
Okay. I think Hanan is back. Actually, I deleted her by mistake. So she wanted to add something.
You gotta love technology. I am now on the attendee side of
Yes,
this
I'm
whole
so
chat.
sorry.
Don't worry about it. So two things I wanted to add for our students. For those that may have difficulties purchasing a laptop or a desktop, the university does have a loaner program, a laptop loaner program. So reach out to the IT department and they will help you set up loaning a laptop for the semester, how to pick it up and how to drop it off. And I think because of this pandemic and the situation that we're in, you would be able to loan it out for the entire semester. And the second thing I wanted to add to our students, do not purchase the Microsoft Windows application. They're pretty expensive. They're about $200, $300. That software is free to you for just being a Montclair State University student. I think there's like a link also somewhere on the IT department's website where you can download that software for free.
Good points.
That's not the only software too. There's a whole repository of different software capabilities there. So when you check that out and get, at minimum, get the Microsoft, but also check out what other software is available there. Some of it might be useful for other classes or just your own interest.
Okay, do you have any more questions? We will try to compile all this information regarding the computers and the software and put together some general information for all students. I promise it will be a short document. We don't really want to bombard you with a lot of information. We will be sharing this presentation as well. I have your emails and the name of the participants, so we will be sending you in the next few days. So
Okay, we have a couple more questions.
okay.
Is it possible to transfer credits from another college? Yes, certainly is. You said for the 5-year program, we would have to register in the fall. Dr. Garden, you want to take that one?
Sure. So right now, you could contact the department, but right now I'm as Dr. Sullivan indicated, I'm not on contract. Neither is Dr. Hosick or Dr. Sullivan. So you know, we're not going into the office and doing certain things. We're doing things that we can to help students. Right now, the key thing to know about the 5-year combined program is that if you're signed up for the BS in exercise science, the clinical and pre-professional track, then it's the exact same courses that you would need in your first year if you were doing the 5-year combined program. So there's no rush to have it set up right this minute. Just make sure that you're in the exercise science program, because that's where you'll start. And then once the semester starts, then you can let us know, and we can make sure that we keep track to make sure that you're on the path to complete things in the appropriate time frame.
The answer, getting the Windows software for free also involves students that buy their own laptop. So if you have your own laptop, can you get Windows software? The answer is yes. You're a student at the university, then you address it that way. Then
You would have to log in. There's a system where you go to the website and you identify who you are by logging in using your NetID account and your password, and then that would authorize you to gain access to this software. But yeah, as a student, you can download that onto any. I think there is a limit to the number that you can download it to, but you can download it to your personal laptops. So then, as long as you have that laptop, even if you're no longer a student of Montclair's, you can still have that software and use that software for the life of the device that you have.
These are all excellent questions. People who are thinking ahead. And we know what it's going to be like this semester is going to be very different than what other semesters will be like. And we certainly thank you for coming to our program. We hope you stay, and we hope you're successful. And we are here to help you get through this. None of us are mind readers. You have to let us know when there is a problem. Don't be afraid of us. We're here. We spend our lives helping young people.
And please contact us anytime you want to talk to us, and we can set up a Zoom meeting. And eventually we will be having some face-to-face meeting as well. So we will be communicating with you as well if we plan to gather a group of students in a large space or outdoors. But please make sure to contact us with any questions. And yeah, we are very excited that you decided to come to Montclair, and this is a great program. You know, this program is really growing and is really very successful. So thank you. And I would like to thank Dr. Garden and Dr. Hosick and Dr. Sullivan and Hanan for participating in this webinar. And once again, make sure to contact them as well. They have a lot of information that they can share with you. Thank you.
Looking forward to meeting everybody.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to meeting each other again. We haven't seen each other in months.
Okay. Welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.